So my refrigerant leaked out due to a high pressure switch that's on the back of the compressor that turns on the fan. Turns out that they don't make this switch anymore. So you can see here that that's a one wire switch with an umbrella style connector. That's no longer in use. So you have to update that to a 2-wire. Right now, I'm just going to show you how to test this, right? So you put one side to the connector, the other side to ground, and that should turn on your fan. If it does, then your wiring harness is good and everything. And then your problem would obviously be the switch. In my case, the thing's leaking, so it wasn't that it wasn't working. It's just that I have dye coming out of that switch, so I need to replace it. So it's not real bad. You saw that I pulled that one bracket out of the way, pulled the air pump out of the way. Of course, the switch is 40 years old, so it's deteriorating as I pull it up out of there. Just a simple snap ring. You get the snap ring out, and then that pulls out. You can see there that it had 2 holes in the back of it, and when the pressure from the compressor goes into those 2 holes, that's what turns on the fan. Right? As long as it doesn't see high pressure, the fan stays off. Next thing we'll do is we'll pull the O-ring out of the compressor. So we'll take that out. We'll clean it out real good, make sure everything's good. Put the new O-ring in there, make sure it's sitting down in the groove real good. Once we have that placed, we'll take the new switch, and here's what the switch, or the bag that the switch came in, and you can see here that it's an updated thing. So we'll put a little oil around the switch, slide it down in there, and then we'll go ahead, once we have that seated, we'll put, it came with the new O-ring and a new snap ring. We'll put the new snap ring in there. And then once we have that in place, then the next thing is just to wire this for the new way that this switch works. So in this case, this is going to be a 2-wire switch, where the old one was 1 wire. So what we're going to have to do is connect one of these wires to the wire that the umbrella style was connected to. So we'll cut that off. So there's the umbrella connector, and we cut that off. I'm going to save that because they're hard to come by. And we'll unwrap this wiring harness a little bit, give me a little bit more room. We'll go ahead and put a connector on there. We'll cut these things to length, and we'll use, I like using solderless crimp connectors that have shrink tubing in them. So they seem to work pretty well. I have some that have solder in them, and you can melt the solder, but these never really have failed me. They always seem to work real good. So they crimp down. Secret's to get a good crimp in there. And then once you get a good crimp, you heat it up. And it's basically, the connector is also shrink tubing. So it makes it watertight. I don't have to worry about corrosion later on. Now what makes this one a little bit different is that we have to put a ground wire on here. So I'm going to put an eye hook, and I'm going to use this bolt right here that was on the back of the AC compressor. And so I'll crimp that down. I'll also shrink fit it, and then I'll put it on there, put the washer on, put a nut back on there. I just wanted to use a washer to make sure that I had a good ground. So there it is, man. That's about all there is to update your high pressure cooling fan switch for your air conditioner. If you would like and subscribe to my videos, I greatly appreciate it. This is what the new one looks like when it's all together. Hey, so I just wanted to do a quick update to the beginning of this video. You saw me put in a blue switch. and it turns out that was the wrong switch. Now, it is true that you can no longer get the single wire umbrella style switch. You have to switch over to a 2-wire switch. But the blue switch that you watched me just put in turned out that that was a normally closed switch, and when it's all pressure, it opened. So when I turned on the key, the cooling fan came on. When I turned on the air conditioner and it built high side pressure, the fan shut off. So it did exactly the opposite of what it was supposed to do. Now, I bought the thing, it was supposed to be for that car, so I don't know what happened there. My fault, I guess, for not testing it. But I ended up taking that back out and putting a purple switch identical to the blue one, but the purple switch was a normally open switch. So when I turn the key on, no fan. When I turn the air conditioner on, the pressure built up. When the pressure built up, the cooling fan came on. So I just thought that I'd throw that out there, because if anybody was watching that video and happened to see that part number, that's the wrong switch of that bag that I showed in that video. So don't use that switch. What you're looking for is a normally open switch. Unfortunately, the blue one that you saw me put in was a normally closed switch. So just check that, make sure you have the right switch before you go install it. All right, guys, thank you once again for listening to me and watching my videos. I greatly appreciate it.